Hello, welcome, namaste. My name is Sylvia. So I'm doing a video today with Kay Moon. You want to say hello, Kay?
Hi, it's so great to be here with you guys. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to do the video portion of this, and Kay's going to join us via voice. And I'm going to talk about Lionsgate. That's what we're going to talk about today, our theme. And a channeling that I received on this time. And then we're going to get into more about the astrology portion, and we're going to pull up some charts in a little bit, and Kay will be talking about Lionsgate and also the new moon in Leo. So let me go ahead and start with the channeling, and then we'll get more into all the other subjects that we're going to talk about. There's quite a bit. And do you want to bring up some of those other topics that we're going to talk about, Kay?
Yeah, sure. I'm pumped to talk about the things you mentioned, and also we're going to talk about the movement of both the divine feminine and the divine masculine planetarily through the sky, so that you can kind of understand their journey. For those of you who are into astrology, you can follow it on your own apps at home. We're going to talk about that communication window that you referenced and how long it's open for, and when the next one will be open, if for whatever reason this one isn't you guys' time on your journey. And then we'll talk a little bit about the energy of this moment in time, because it's a very pivotal moment in our year. You referenced it in your last video, but how this moment sets us up on a road of preparation between now and the end of the year as we lead up to 2020. And we'll talk about some of the energies of preparation.
Yes. So lots of intense energies from now until that point. So let me go ahead and do the channeled message, and then we'll get into some of the other topics. So Lionsgate, it's a portal of high energy, light, vibration frequency coming in, and it's triggering a lot of the darkness. So this is the aspects of shadows, both internal and external. So a lot of us are being drawn inward to do healing and to look at the deeper shadows, another layer of this. But this is also the shadows of the external and the outer world. So there's a lot that's going on with introspection and the evaluation of our lives. This is all setting us up for our higher path, highest path, and also letting go of the things that no longer serve. A lot of what's coming through, it's the unveiling. Things that were not seen are being seen, and especially and specifically for the divine masculine. And then universal intelligence or higher light wisdom. There's also a lot of upgrades, if you will, so ascension symptoms that we're all going through. And with these, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what you may be feeling during this time. You may be feeling extremely tired, exhausted. At night, I know a lot of people are having a hard time sleeping, and it's because there's this energy of worry, and there's this energy of feeling like strange or weird, like you can't really put your finger on what it is, but it feels like there's a lot of chaos, and also like it's very intense, like you feel like something's about to happen, but you just don't really know what it is. So a lot of that going on with this energy. And now we're going to talk more about what this energy, the intensity of this energy signifies. And Kay, if you want to kind of come in and talk about the different aspects of what you were picking up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Should I share screen now?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. All right. So for those of you that don't know me, nice to meet you. My name is Kay Moon, and I am a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. Just to protect both the identity of my divine masculine and myself, we live somewhat public lives outside of the world of being twin flames. So I never show my face on camera, but you will always catch a really great glimpse of charts. Whenever you visit my channel, I will show you what's happening astrologically. So I have 2 charts in front of me to really kind of pick up and amplify, I guess, what Sylvia was just saying. You'll see here on the left the Leo new moon chart and the places where the planets were at the time of the Leo new moon on 7/31. And then you'll also see the Lionsgate chart here on the left. And I'm going to get into why there's a different date here than 8/8 momentarily. But the first thing I want to say is that these two are linked energetically. Both the Leo new moon, you'll see here, it has a lot of cardinal energy, a lot of fire energy. This is a lot of fixed energy. This is a huge manifestation gateway. An opportunity where with that fire energy, we can call forward intention so that as we move forward in time, we can place it into action. With the Lionsgate, I wasn't exactly very familiar with it, but as I dug into the research, some of the first historical references around it had to do with a moment in time where the sun and the earth aligned with the binary star system Sirius A and Sirius B, known for the most part as just Sirius because to the naked eye and with certain telescopes, you only see one star. But Sirius is actually 2 stars. And if that's not twin flame, I don't know what is. They actually function together. They move together through the solar system quite slowly. And I believe if one dies, the other dies too. So, but I got to double check all that on my binary star systems. Don't quote me on that. But that was the last thing I remember learning about them quite a while ago. So the alignment of Sun, Earth, and Sirius A and B, happens at 14 degrees Leo and 5 minutes. And that 14 degree 5 minutes of Leo is actually, I wrote it down here, it starts at August 8th or August 6th, 2019. So I'll just show you this. Let me just edit this real quick. It starts on August 6th, 2019 at 4:03 p.m. This is Eastern Daylight Time. You'll need to convert this to your time zone. But then it goes all the way until 4:27 p.m. So we've got like a good 24-minute window where there's full alignment between Sun, Earth, and Sirius. Here's the Earth here on the lower left of this chart at 14 degrees and 5 minutes in Aquarius. Here's the Sun here at 14 degrees and 5 minutes of Leo. Interestingly, this is the midpoint of Leo. And at this moment, Sun is also in harmonious 120-degree angle. In astrology, we call that a trine to Jupiter, which represents the divine masculine in the charts that I read. I read Jupiter as divine masculine. I read Juno as divine feminine. Zeus and Hera, some of you may know them mythologically, as they were divine counterparts that reigned over Mount Olympus. So in a harmonious conversation, we had Juno sitting at that 14-degree mark as well. Jupiter moves much slower. And as soon as Juno hit that 14-degree mark, that's when the communication window opened between the divine feminine, Juno, also known as the partnership asteroid, and Jupiter, the divine masculine, here in Sagittarius. That harmonious energy lent itself to a flow, an unobstructed flow of energy between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And depending upon where those two fall in both of your charts, you might have felt more communication happening in 5D. You might have felt it or seen it transpire in 3D, or even just felt called to reach out. This communication window stays open through, I believe it's the 23rd of August. On that date, what happens? I'll just quickly show you. So pop over to the 23rd. We've got Juno here at her final degree of Leo before she moves into the squaring sign of Virgo. During that period of time, once Juno's in Virgo, a purification will start to take place for the divine feminine. And when signs square, that's when you start to have tension. And so if you start to feel a little bit of growing tension in this communication window, at the further we get away from July 22nd, that's why you're not crazy. There's a tension aspect growing in 90 degrees between divine femme and divine masculine. This particular communication window was not necessarily about fully cleaning up and reconciling the past. It was more about a touch point, an energetic exchange, a hey, I'm here. Are you okay? Good, I'm okay. Great, let's keep working. You'll also see here on this date, what else we have? 14. There was another 14. We've got Saturn here at 14. But we've also got Mercury having moved quite a bit to wrapping up the final 5-degree orb of communication with Jupiter. So Mercury represents consciousness and communication. So by this date, 5-degree orb is really big. When things are off by 5 degrees, they say it's less and less potent the further and further away you get from exact. So with that 5-degree orb, that's when, and Juno moving out of harmony, the harmonious sign, and into the squaring sign, that's when we want to start to say, all right, it's time for us to go back to our desks and do our work. So plenty of people can guide you on, I'm feeling to reach out to my twin. What is it I should say? Would they be open at this time? I notice here that Sylvia is very in tune astrologically without even practicing astrology. I would highly recommend whatever she has on offer during this window as a reading, because she'll really be able to help you with that. I know my priority list for the second half of August is already starting to get tremendously filled. So if you want to get on that, please feel free to email me. We'll have the details below this video. But the other interesting thing around potency for this particular period of time is this position of the divine masculine. Let me go back here. So Jupiter, the divine masculine, but also in classic astrology, represents the energy of abundance, luck, opportunity, fortune. I see Jupiter most primarily representing itself as opportunity. Jupiter sitting here in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about truth, single focused aim. It's about understanding where we're going, our higher ideals. And with Jupiter having gone retrograde, moving inward toward an internal energy, seeking light within from April of this year until August 11th of this year, we've had a movement of masculine energies, both within ourselves, if you're a divine feminine, but if you're also a divine masculine, this applies to you especially. We've had a movement of energy toward internal seeking. And this just really validates quite a bit of what Sylvia was saying. It's a looking at the shadow. It's a reckoning, is what's been revealed to me about the places where it's a awareness of where our masculine energies aren't aligned with where our hearts are at and what our hearts truly want. And it's an awareness of what's misaligned, not just in our lives. If you're divine masculine, or if you are a divine masculine and you're partnered in some way with a soulmate who's not your twin, or you're in a job situation that doesn't work for you, a family arrangement that needs to be reconfigured to be aligned with your heart, all of this energy of internal movement in the sign of truth and highest ideals is what's being revealed to you now as Jupiter hits the last degree that it will be in retrograde motion in Sagittarius before it turns direct. Once Jupiter turns direct on August 11th, the lights will have been on, the clarity will have been there, and it'll be about setting the intention so that once Jupiter hits Capricorn at the very end of this year, we can move out of ideas, fire signs, into manifestation, earth sign Capricorn. So that's really important to know that this entire process this year, if you've been feeling a little frustrated with how slow it's going, it's really been about trying to understand where things are misaligned. And that misalignment awakening and awareness is going to carry on through the end of this year, because what we have is Saturn retrograde at this time, Pluto retrograde at this time. We've got Neptune retrograde, Uranus will go retrograde, and we've got one more Mercury retrograde once we get out into Scorpio season. But these retrogrades all started this past month in July, which was why everyone just felt like they just got handed handed a shift sandwich. I'll say, I won't call it a curse word sandwich, but I will say a shifting sandwich, a shift sandwich, because this is what has been required. The requirement and the invitation on the table for us from the universe is to shift, to grow, to change, to look within, and to find out with Saturn retrograde where our integrity is out of alignment with where it is we're headed, with Pluto retrograde where both our money and our power is being misused as it pertains to the truth of what we know is in our heart's desire, with Neptune retrograde showing us exactly how our internal energies and the way we are mentally picturing our lives, imagining our lives, but also spiritually misaligned with where it is our heart really wants to go. And then when Uranus goes retrograde, it'll really help awaken that divine spark within us. I think that's the last one to go retrograde this year. Before that Mercury retrograde again in Scorpio. When Uranus goes retrograde, it'll allow the divine spark within us to ignite, so that as we move into Capricorn season for manifestation, and Jupiter moves into Capricorn for a full manifestation year, we'll be able to take everything that we got clarity about and place it into action in the outer world. So that speaks to something you also, Sylvia, brought up in your last video. Well, the one where you kind of mentioned my video. So thank you for mentioning my video. Again, that was so awesome of you. I love collabs.
Yes.
You mentioned that there's this merging energy that's happening right now. And I just want to speak to that because my guide showed me that a couple of months ago. And I'm going to tie this back to this particular manifestation window. There's this merging energy going on where, you know, we've thought about the third dimension and the fifth dimension. You know, we've spoken about it as it's almost like different floors in a building, and you can take the elevator up and down between the floors. But what's been shown to me about this is that as the earth escalates in energy ascension wise, it's not, you know, that the earth moves from 3D to 5D. It's that there is a merging, a collapsing of separation between 3D and 5D. And this is why so many times in your waking state now, you can have 5D communication the same way you would have if you were asleep with your twin. You can turn it on and off, pop in and pop out, tune in and tune out, because it's as if the third floor and the fifth floor collapsed and became one floor. As the earth ascends. And so with that merging energy, especially right now with the Lion's Gate, what we're seeing is a very potent period of time for manifestation. So what my research kind of showed me about Lion's Gate in particular has to do with that alignment of Sirius and Earth and Sun at that mid degree of Sagittarius, or mid degree of Leo specifically. But interestingly, first kind of recorded date, and that we kind of worked with it on planet Earth in the realm of manifestation was the pyramids of Giza. And the Egyptians built those pyramids of Giza to align the point of the pyramid with the arrival of that star's alignment to the sun every single year. And so when that star sits atop the pyramid of Giza was the same time when all of the farmers could expect that the Nile would flood, overflow the banks, water all of the seeds planted, so that the harvest could the harvest could pop up for that year. So think of this energetically as a moment in time where anything that you have been planting energetically, mentally, verbally, with your actions, all of the stuff we've been planting is about to get watered. And this is why it is so important during this time to get as high vibrational as we can, to stay as positive and clear and intention as we can. And if you can't speak positively about yourself or your twin or your journey, at least do what you have to do to get to neutral. If you find yourself downward spiraling, put on a movie, listen to music, go out with friends, interrupt mental patterns that are out of control and moving you in a negative direction, because the fertility of this window is so high. And it is the setup for us into 2020 when we'll have the eclipse cycle on that Sagittarius Gemini axis, Sagittarius being singular focused energy, Gemini being the sign of two becoming one. We've got an eclipse cycle that spans a year and a half starting next year in the summer for twins specifically. That's going to be incredibly potent. Plant your seeds now. And that's what I have on this. Thank you.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And very well articulated. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
That's very powerful insight and information for all of you twins that are watching. And so many of us have been kind of watching this, unfold, and it just seems like it's getting closer and closer. And that's the energy that I've been picking up on. It's like you can't really put your finger on it, but there's so much intensity. And I wanted to reference a quantum session that I did. It was about 2 weeks ago, maybe now, somewhere within this time frame. And when they took us to the 5D, we were in New Earth, they took us to the pyramids, and they were showing us the energy of the masculine, and they kept showing us the North Star. And you referenced it, so I just wanted to bring that up because it is that perfect alignment, and that perfect alignment to be able to manifest, like you're saying. This is exactly what you're saying. This time is very impactful for people's journeys. And the other thing I liked that you were talking about is the overflow of the water. We were also shown that in the sense of like rain. There was like this downpour of rain that came over my client that I was doing the session with when she was looking at the pyramids. And we asked about it, like what it represented. And they told us it was two things. During this time, there's a lot of this chaotic energy because a lot of things that don't belong are falling away. And the other thing was they showed us an umbrella. And they told us that during this time, because there's so much going on, they want us to know that we are shielded and protected. And then when I was looking at the chart with you, what I was channeling was the Wheel of Fortune card. And everything you were saying is the Wheel of Fortune. Like that wheel is turning. And it's been in like almost the hangman position, if you will. And now it's turning and things are happening again for the highest good. So we're kind of needing to align with this wheel that's climbing and letting go again of like anything that just doesn't belong. So that's kind of what I'm picking up. That's what I picked up as you were talking. But I love the way you explain everything. And again, the way you articulate, it's very lovely.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. That it's, it's really funny. Like it doesn't really matter. I've noticed like for those of us who are tuned, like how you find it. Some of us find it through tarot. The
Uh-huh.
planets speak to me very directly. Quantum healing speaks to a lot of people. I was just listening to something about that before we got on this. So it's really funny you brought it up.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, there's this momentum that's building now as we
Yes.
walk toward 2020, and the energy is incredibly potent. And as for twins specifically, as a division of light workers, all light workers I have seen have amplified manifestation capacities.
Mhm.
But as twins specifically, it's just so important to take ownership of that manifestation capacity, um, and do what we can to high vibe, stay in unconditional love, etc. Because it's really the vibration that we carry that is part, not all, but part of the total outcomes for the planet, and then specifically the outcomes that we're going to live through, so directly in our own lives. So
Yeah.
important to stay as high vibe as possible. So thank you again for allowing me to do this with you. It was really a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, I think that was everything we were going to cover and talk about. And I will link all of your links also in this video if anybody wants to get a reading from you, and also to follow you on your YouTube channel and any other social media that you may have. And the same for your video. So I think that's it. Thank you so much as well for joining me today. And it was a pleasure to work with you.
My pleasure as well. For those of you watching this broadcast from my channel, know that you can find all of Sylvia's information below in the description box, and I'll also pin it for you as the first comment. So if you'd love to get a read from her, I find she's incredibly attuned with how the energies are playing out planetarily. And as such, she can probably give you very specific information on your journey that the planets can't when you need to go a step further. So I highly recommend you check her out. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. All right. Namaste, everyone. Bye-bye.